Now we're going to go ahead and move forward with our volume blow dry styling. If you notice, I've actually put the mannequin back into 4 sections again, standard 4-section parting, except for I left the area at the occipital out. The first thing we're going to do with the volume blow drying is do a pre-dry. For that method, you can either use your 9-row brush or your vent brush. I'm going to choose to use the 9-row today. I'm going to start in this nape area, this area below the occipital, because I don't want to give it a lot of volume because this hair is shorter and it's going to stand out too far away from the head. So I'm going to start here and then we're going to move to our side quadrant. Again, the idea of our pre-dry is to get the hair about 75% dry. So when I go in, first thing I'm going to actually do is move this hair forward in small partings just to give this that movement of that graduation in the back. So once we have that nape area dry, I'm going to turn the mannequin slightly. Again, the hair that I'm not working with, I'm keeping it pinned up out of my way. I'm going to move this back slightly. And for the side panels, because I want to create some volume through this area, I'm going to go in and pick this hair up away from the scalp to start giving it some lift and blow drying it in vertical partings through the section. I'm going to get that area about 75% dry and then move to your first back quadrant. So now in our back quadrant, I'm still going to take those vertical panels or those vertical partings and again work at just about 75% dry. Okay, we're going to continue working around in the other 2 panels, but I want you to keep in mind that as I'm working with the hair and blow drying it out, my blow dryer is not sitting on my brush and it's not sitting on the hair. It's away from it, and I'm actually lifting this up so that I create a little bit of movement and start to create a little bit of body in that hair. Okay, so I'm going to move on and go ahead and blow dry the next 2 panels, and then we'll come back to the round brushing. So now we're going to start with our volume blow dry using our round brush. While I'm working on the sides here, I'm going to use the larger of the 2 round brushes. And I'm starting on my non-dominant side so that when I'm blowing with the blow dryer, I'm blowing hair that has not been styled yet using the blow dryer. So I start on my left side, work around to the right. If you're left-handed, you would start on your right side and work around to your left. I'm going to come in now and take some horizontal partings, about 1 to 1.5 inches, no wider. Using the low blow dry setting, I'm going to come in and I'm going to give this hair a little bit of lift off of its base so that I can create that volume and fullness that we see with the graduated diagonal forwards. One of the things I would like for you to remember as you're blow drying is to let your tools do your work for you. There's no reason to come in and blow dry and do this really fast. Take it slow and let your tools do your work for you. Taking another horizontal parting. I want to make sure that I grab a little bit of hair from the previous parting so that I don't have lines in the hair. And I'm going to take another horizontal parting at this point in time because I'm starting to work over to the top of the head. I'm going to tilt her slightly to the side so it's a little bit easier for me to get in there. Again, when I begin working, I want to make sure that I'm grabbing just a little bit of my previous parting so I don't get those splits and show those marks in the hair or on the scalp. The hair that I'm not working with is up and out of my way. When I come in to blow dry, I want to make sure that I'm giving some lift and pulling that hair above the base slightly. Working that through to the ends to let it cool off. See the volume I'm creating with the blow dryer? So we've got about 2 more sections here. Tilt her slightly over a little bit more. Make sure that's nice and detangled. Come in making sure I lift that hair over its base. Our last parting on the left side. Again, I'm grabbing a little bit of the hair from my previous parting. Okay. If you notice, before I took the blow dryer off the hair, I made sure that I really treated those ends with that heat so that I'd get that nice curve under. So I'm going to go to the next panel in the back. So now we're going to move to the back, and I'm going to use the smaller round brush. And I just want to create a slight lift back here in the back and this curve down to really emphasize the graduation in the hair. When you're not using your blow dryer, make sure that you turn it away from the hair. You definitely don't want to go in and disturb any of the previously dried sections. One of the things I want to mention now is so that I don't have that parting in the hair showing from one panel to the next, I'm going to come into this area that's right here with the hair above the ears. I'm going to connect that hair together. Make sure that I dry these two together. So we're going to go ahead and complete this panel. We're going to move into our next panel, and then we'll come back when we're on the right side. So now we're going to move over to our right side panel. And what I've done is actually taken a horizontal parting, but I've taken it back to my back right panel so that I can make sure that I connect so that I don't have a split or a part in the hair here. One of the other things is I'm going to show you before I turn on the blow dryer is the reason that I work from left to right with being right-handed is because I always hold that round brush or that brush in my dominant hand because I know that I'm going to get the right amount of tension and I have more control with my dominant hand. But also when I go into blow dry, since I'm holding the blow dryer in my left hand, it's going to be angled towards the right. That's one of the reasons why I always want to work from left to right. I don't mess the hair up that I've previously blow dried. So I want to make sure that I create some lift in this bottom side here, but I don't want quite as much lift here as I do here. Otherwise, I'm going to end up looking, or my mannequin's going to look like the Flying Nun. So we don't want to get that very triangle look to it. So I'm going to move on up, Again, I want to make sure that I'm taking a little bit of my back panel in so that I can connect those two. As I begin to work up the head, I'm lifting that hair over the base more and more so that I can get more volume as I move up. I'm also making sure that I grab some of the hair from underneath my previous blow dried section so that I won't create those parts in the hair. Also making sure that I blow that hair down the brush, because if I set it where it's right on the hair or it's back this way, it's going to create all types of frizziness because it's going to brush or blow back those shorter hairs. So keep that blow dryer angled down the hair or down the cuticle. At this point in time, I may want to go back and make sure all of my partings have been blended and go back to the crown area right behind the apex and give that a little bit more lift. Okay, so with a little bit of hairspray, we could get these little flyaway shorter hairs in here. But this is the end result of our volume blow drying on our graduated diagonal forward. Notice that buildup of weight and volume in the back. You see that movement? And I did go in and clean this area in the nape up a little bit, gave it some texture. All right.